No, I saw all the goobers in Discord are pouring over the newly released JFK files. I guess they released like 80,000 pages of formerly classified JFK files. So far, all I've seen is little inconsequential tidbits of nonsense. It's going to take forever for anybody to go through that and see anything. I had people like, "Hey, are you reading through the files? Are you retarded? What the fuck is wrong with you?" First of all,
no, I'm playing Baldur's Gate 3. This elf isn't going to level itself.
Goddamn right. And that's something because I know how to level an elf in Baldur's Gate 3. What business do I have reading through 80,000 pages of files from 1960s? Get out of here with that. Like you're some internet detective. Let some expert look at it and then tell us what they found. They're like, "Oh, turns out."
What a lazy way to look at it.
It's 80,000 pages of old, like
all of us
there's not a narrative.
Just one, Kyle.
If we could all read just
Kyle,
one.
Kyle, if I may, what you're saying is you would like the mainstream media to figure out what happened and then and then present it to you, and then that way you know.
Don Lemon specifically. I want Don Lemon to pour through the files, and then he'll get back to me on what the truth is. No, I want I'm happy with like crackpot internet sleuths who are competent at this sort of thing and have done similar things. Maybe they have a legal background or a journalism background to go through those files. But the idea that trust me, some of the people that I've talked to are going to go through those files.
I'm sure. Did you guys see some of the outrage with the MLK stuff that was released? Some of the stuff that came out with that.
Oh, I saw the where they were like the Soviet Union warned. I guess the Soviet Union warned us about JFK and MLK, and we didn't listen.
Well, I didn't know about that one, but I more meant like I don't want to say this in case like I read something like there was like a troll or something, but there was like some promiscuous activity and there was some like non-becoming behavior from MLK.
So what I know, and I thought it's always been sort of historical fact. J. Edgar Hoover, the FBI was giving him a hard time. They're investigating, they were spying on him, they were bugging him. And I believe they had an audio recording of him having like loud, boisterous sex with, I thought, his wife. But I've also heard people say another woman.
Yeah.
In either case, what you're definitely hearing is his, "Oh, Lordy, Lordy, hallelujah, that pussy is good."
No. Oh, that's funny. They should have released that now.
That's Show Dirty Talk. I hope that goes live.
I have a dream.
I've heard that too, where they're like they held like sex stuff or adultery or impropriety over his head to try and get him to do and behave the way. So no, I don't think that's like a fresh conspiracy or anything. Like I've heard that for a while.
Yeah, but they had it like in the files they released, like a bunch of shit in there. There was a lot of not good shit. I briefly read through it. I'm sure there's some, as Kyle puts it, some crackpot legal expert that can break it down for us a bit better. But I'll leave it to the professionals or the
folks at BBC, according to Zach, are saying that Dr. King took part in, quote, drunken sex orgies and, quote, coerced young women to participate in them. Oh,
it's on BBC. Wow.
So better take those statues down. Let's get out in the parks tonight. Let's start tearing those statues down, folks.
How young? Like, I would agree with you if they were under 18.
Let's see.
This actually makes them look a bit better. I'm just kidding.
Oh, yeah?
Let's see. What do we got? Among its accusations are that Dr. King was surrounded by advisors with strong links to the Communist Party. His statements were always subject to approval by the alleged communist sympathizers. He was a secret supporter of communism, a wholehearted Marxist. His organization, the Southern Christian Leadership Conference, set up a tax dodge to raise funds for its activities. And then, exactly what he said, drunken sex orgies and young women. Had love affairs with at least four women, including folk singer Joan Baez. Baez. Okay, I didn't know who that was. Yeah, this is what it says in the documents they released. King is a wholehearted Marxist who has studied it, believes in it, and agrees with it, but because of his being a minister of religion, does not dare to espouse it publicly. Okay, well, that's interesting.
Yeah, I was a little more interested. I was more interested in
more interesting.
The orgies.
One room had a large table that was filled with whiskey. The two Negro prostitutes were paid $50 to put on a sex show for the entertainment of the guests. A variety of sex acts deviating from the norm were observed. Okay.
Oh my.
Tell me more.
Hey, sounds like they pay you guys $50 a month.
Yeah.
Dr. King would be a fine addition.
He would. He's smiling
Dude,
down at us.
Do you know how much
they would fit in great here.
The city of Atlanta? Dude, the city of Atlanta is going to go under now. You know how much it's going to cost to rename all those fucking roads and streets?
Dude, there's a MLK Boulevard in every single city. What are we going to do now?
We call that Crime Alley.
What if they swing back too far though, and we have a bunch of David Duke boulevards?
Oh, we don't want that. I hope there's no places named after David Duke.
I don't see any kind of right-wing propaganda coming up these days.
No, certainly not that. I don't actually know what that guy's up to. I know the pictures of David Duke I've seen. Well, Dr. King is dead, but David Duke looks like he's had
alive?
a series of
Strokes.
Like skin tightening facelifts.
Oh,
like you remember in Always Sunny when like Charlie's on acid and he's like, your skin's too tight. That's what fucking David Duke looks like. Every time I've seen a picture of that dude for like a news story of like ex-KKK guy.
I can't believe
XYZ.
he's still alive.
Yeah, he's fucking
74.
He's got way too tight. Do you see what I'm saying with the tight skin?
I
didn't see a picture.
Tight skinned.
Yeah,
Tight-skinned
tight
man.
skinned.
Yeah. Well,
Really?
I just don't, Martin Luther King, as you guys know, is a hero of mine. So finding
You
out
won't
all
shut up
this
about
now,
him. This is upsetting to you, I'm sure.
I mean, I dress up as Martin Luther King every year for Halloween.
Yeah, but I've told you to tone the lips down.
Look, I try to make it as realistic as I can. I'm sorry that my makeup skills aren't up to par. Okay, I'm just trying to show solidarity with a great American hero.
Just saying, I'm going to a party as MLK Jr. and then looking like Al Jolson, like just the most offensive.
Did you think the shutter glasses were like over the top? Like
I did. I thought those were tasteless.
Yeah, that's what everybody.
Anyway, was there anything else good about JFK or MLK in there? I saw a bunch of people making a to-do about JFK and being like, oh, it was the CIA and Israeli intelligence and the mob was involved. And it's like, okay, well, these are all existing theories. So like, there's nothing.
No new theories, just more supporting evidence that is a bit vague
theory.
and supportive of multiple theories, which is what we always find. There's no smoking gun. But some little details and tidbits. I think maybe it wasn't released earlier that Jack Ruby or Oswald was shot by Jack Ruby twice. I think maybe the report was once. Like maybe that's a new tidbit. It's like, who fucking cares? Like little stuff like that I've seen. But I don't know.
Dude, being president's pretty fucking dangerous. People try to kill you.
It is
pretty brutal.
Trump, they tried to kill him once or twice lately.
Yeah.
There was actually a third.
Is there a more dangerous job than president? It's probably number one, right?
If you get rid of
it's number one.
Other presidents, being the president of the U.S., I don't think is the most dangerous president to be.
I meant U.S. Just to be clear, I wasn't talking about
of all the jobs here. Yeah, definitely.
Well, so how many? We've had like 47 presidents, right?
Mm-hmm.
And how many have been killed?
Well, not even. Is it 47 presidents or 47 presidencies?
45 presidents, right? Because two of them got two numbers.
Okay.
So then Lincoln got,
Lincoln, JFK,
and Reagan got shot. And you got to count the attempts too. Like I'm sure.
Yeah, Reagan got shot.
Reagan's out there like, yeah, count me. It's not safe.
Yeah, Roosevelt got shot. Trump got shot. So that's
and then your health also descends into like. Just terribly, like you age 20 years in like 4 or 8 years.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of presidents died like right after their term.
I think that might happen with Biden. Going out on a limb.
Yeah,
he's going to die soon.
At 82, it's the dice roll at day at that point.
If I was a gambling man, Woody, I'd be taking the under.
Yeah, that's how you're gonna win this $100,000 back as a side parlay.
I got the under on Biden.
The under on 85. I think I would take that as well. Yeah. So what is that, like 4 or 5 president shot?
Do you?
They try to kill 1 in 9 of them or succeed.
Do you ever do?
This is such a funny window to have open right next to the MLK JFK files.
Apparently, they belong hand in hand based on what I'm now learning about Martin Luther King. I think that's the funniest take, dude. Like we need to like that. Maybe it's
like if we Me Too him.
Dick Masterson needs to ride with this hard as fuck. Like we need to take those statues down. Remember how they went into the park, started taking the statues down of anybody who'd done anything bad? Oh man, MLK, our former hero. We're gonna have to melt those down and turn them into some Susan B. Anthony's or some shit.
Yeah, they're like if they're tearing down George Washington's, then I guess we gotta tear down the MLKs, or we could just leave them. We can leave them all up.
How old those gals were?
Yeah,
them gals. Well, it's definitely not as young as Thomas Jefferson's young gals. Thomas Jefferson was a wild man. By the way, Jefferson, I think, is the one who did the Louisiana Purchase. I didn't want to correct Doug Polk, noted NFT expert and winning poker player. but I think that's Jefferson who did the Louisiana Purchase, because that's during the Napoleonic era.
Polk, I believe, oversaw the largest territorial expansion in American history, including the annexation of Texas, the Oregon Territory. So he didn't do the Louisiana Purchase, but he did a bigger one that I guess was overshadowed.
Yeah, so that was, the Louisiana Purchase is the one where we got it from France, and I think Napoleon is the one who was running France at the time. I think he used that money to conquer Europe.
Another thing we learned, Napoleon was pretty cool. Pretty good at winning battles. One of the best in history. Pretty neat.
Yeah, it's a shame that they made that Napoleon movie.
Google says it's James Monroe. The Louisiana Purchase. The Louisiana Purchase.
Who was president when the purchase happened? That would
1803. So I don't know, but
really, I could have sworn it was Jefferson. Maybe I'm wrong.
Thomas Jefferson was president in 1803. So
I'm right.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, there it is. And Jefferson authorized the purchase. I'm sorry, Kyle. I made a mistake.
That's okay. History's fun that way. We all learn together. I don't know very much about Thomas Jefferson other than he was a real ghoul with his like slave half children.
What about stuff. Didn't he and Madison, weren't they all, or Adams? Him and Adams were always like at each other's throats, like sniping at each other, sending mean letters to one another.
In the media too, in the papers of the day, like spreading rumors about each other and falsehoods and all sorts of what we would call propaganda and fake news. It's as old as time. But like Jefferson was legitimately a ghoul. Like he married, I think, like one of his slaves. And then they went to go to France on a vacation. And so legally, because they were entering the great nation of France, he had to emancipate her. And he made a deal with her that she would be legally re-enslaved. She's got to sign the re-enslavement papers when they go home. He's like, sign these and then I'll make our kids free. But he didn't. He sold their kids. and then I think he married her like 16-year-old half-sister, who was also like a slave or something. It was wild. Yeah, they don't tell us about that stuff. So I'm fine with melting his statue, but you got to get MLK's too, because I bet them ladies he was running around.
Dude, we don't have any more old timey statues getting built because they're old timey. So let's just keep.
That is how that works. We can.
That is how it works. We can't make new old timey statues, so we can't just start willy nilly tearing down all the old guys.
Sure you can. They're made out of bronze and brass. And
well, I'm not saying that it's a physical.
Still a new statue.
Yeah,
you melt the old one, use the old materials. It's an old statue.
Now we're in like a Theseus's ship situation. Did I pronounce that right?
Theseus.
Theseus, you think? Okay.
Yeah.